It's 4:02, June 13, 2018. We'll start the meeting. We'll call to order. Is there any public comment?
I have three questions for you.
Good.
The first one is for Chief Carlton and Commissioner Lester. I'm curious about if you can tell us how many patients you have in the community paramedic program so far?
Right now we're working with 4 people
Okay.
within the community, and we've been successful in acquiring assistance from Circle of Care through that process as well, and also from a local yoga instructor to bring into people's homes that are in their senior years who would benefit from yoga to help with balance issues and core strength.
Okay.
So it's going well. It's slow. I plan on hopefully being able to advertise it starting in July, putting together mock-up advertisements and covering some of a short list of the things that we'll be assisting with people in the community.
Okay. I know at the January hospital district meeting, when you introduced this to them, you offered to carry brochures into people's homes and advocate for the clinic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Has there been any movement from the hospital district to form a more collaborative relationship with you and collaborate on your initiatives?
No, not at this time. We haven't been contacted by the hospital district. I did have a meeting with Barbara Whalen the other day for about 45 minutes to an hour. And just to discuss the program again with her in detail and some other issues surrounding the hospital district and the fire district. I believe the meeting went really, really well, and that we're on the same page in a lot of ways. So the biggest thing for us is being able to provide for this community and the members within this community that don't have much, don't have any type of medical care, do not get out of their house very often, are socially isolated, those types of things. And bring in a component and it being collaborative with the Circle of Care, with the clinic, with the fire district, that the 3 of us and any organizations that may come to pass in the future, nobody needs to move from here when they get older. And we are able to transport as fast as the majority of the organizations in Whatcom County down to St. Joseph's. And in most cases even faster because we utilize Airlift Northwest and the high acuity calls. So I want people to understand that we want you to be able to feel comfortable staying here in your senior years, having confidence within our organization, with our mobile integrated healthcare in-home program as well, because we have a nurse practitioner. We also have a physician assistant within that program. Being able to utilize the clinic if they so choose as a primary care provider. And then utilizing the avenues of Circle of Care to come into the home, help clean the home, and then also offer respite care for one or the other person that's living in the home. So if the husband is taking care of the wife, the husband's able to leave for a couple hours every week, go out and do what they need to do, get some fresh air, or vice versa, the wife taking care of the husband. And Circle of Care is able to offer that. So we've been very successful with having those meetings and getting things in the calendar for the people that are involved at this point. I'm happy to carry brochures, senior and disability brochures, those types of things, brochures from the clinic if they want those brochures for us. But we haven't had any discussion with them on those topics.
Okay. So my third question is for Commissioner Harper. Pat, since your wife is a hospital district commissioner, I would think that you would be in a unique position to be able to improve the collaborative relationship between the hospital district and the fire district. I'm wondering what your plans or strategy are for doing that.
Well, we don't talk a whole lot about it because some things she can't talk about, some things I can't talk about. And I guess if I heard there's going to be a decision made in June, I guess, by Unity Care about, to continue or not to continue. And I know from previous discussions before she was even a member of the planning commissioners, problems with Medicare and Medicaid and things like that, because she dealt with that kind of stuff in her previous job. And it's quite complicated. And, but I guess we'll find out more in June.
That would be this month, June, right?
Yeah, right. Like some, I don't know what particular date, but I understand.
Well, they have a, okay.
Yeah. They expect some sort of response whether they're gonna continue or, you know, in any case, the contract, I guess, goes to the end of the year. And they were supposed to let us know, I think.
I don't think so, but
Okay.
it's in the 90 day.
Okay, thanks.
Vic, I'd like to add to that. I mean, our goal is to have a collaborative effort with whoever's here providing outreach into this community. And I believe it's the fire district's, with the permission of the commissioners, it's the fire district's responsibility to do everything we possibly can within our financial means that we currently have, that if there's ways that we can reach out into this community that are not currently being offered in the community, then we should explore those concepts and maybe even implement some outreach. We can't do everything, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, and the reason for my question is that when Elaine Camuzzi announced her resignation, she decided the community paramedic program is one of the reasons she seemed to feel as if it was a threat to the clinic. When I applied to replace Robin Nault on the hospital district board, I advocated for a more collaborative relationship between the two. I said the hospital district should see that program as an opportunity rather than as a threat. And I guess I was not chosen for that position, and I was curious about whether that situation had improved after that.
Yeah, I haven't had any contact with anybody from the clinic. Again, having the meeting with Barbara Whalen was very positive in my mind. And making sure that they understand is that one of our first offers for someone to get into primary care is we inform the people or help them understand that the clinic is available for that purpose. And we do that in everyone that we've had outreach to. And those people, due to HIPAA purposes, I can't express who those people are.
Right.
But they would affirm that as well when Virginia and myself have gone into these homes.
Well, the reason I asked about the number is I can't imagine that 4 patients from your program would be much of a threat to the clinic.
No, and it's a service that the clinic was not currently offering into this community. So if the clinic had been offering this type of outreach to the community, we wouldn't be doing it. We'd be looking at other avenues to try to better the living conditions and outreach into this community. But we started a program it's across the nation in fire service and in private ambulance companies and other organizations. Pat Grubb did a very good job in his article, pointing out that we're not the first to be offering nurse practitioners. We're not the first to be offering this level of service. There's nurse practitioner 1, nurse practitioner 2 ambulances out there that are fire department based. So we want the best for this community. I want Point Roberts to be prosperous. I want people to be able to live here, and if they so choose, to die in their home here, that they spend so much time. So however we do that, whatever relationships we build, can be a positive to that effect. And I hope those are accomplished within the clinic, ourselves, Circle of Care, or whatever else organizations that will come to pass.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment as well, and that is I think that this organization could benefit the hospital district in so many ways that, I just want to reemphasize, we're not in competition. We are supportive, and it would help us if they are supportive.
Yeah, we've never been in competition with the hospital district or the clinic itself. We are there, we do 2 separate things. Our ability to get grants are in 2 separate arenas. The grants that we can go for, the hospital district is most likely not able to, and vice versa. To say that we're taking all the grants, and the hospital doesn't have any grants to take because we're getting them all, that's not a true, or accurate factual statement. So it's about collaboration to help this community have things it's never had before. and to be able to provide services that nowhere else in this county or maybe even region are being provided to the communities that are covered by EMS and, you know, fire response. So it's a goal to be the best, and it's a goal because I live here, I'm a resident here, and you know, when I grow older and I become a senior myself, what services will be available to me? And I hope that we are able to provide or build such a strong foundation with the collaborativeness of the clinic or the provider of the clinic, the hospital district, circle of care, and the fire district, that we'll have services that people actually have to choose from because we have too many to offer.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any more questions, Rick? Very good questions, by the way. Okay, well, Bones again explain what we are trying to do here. I sincerely hope we don't have to touch on that another month. Because we all know what we're doing here. And Pat God knows it, everybody seems to know that. It's a wonderful process. It's a very good endeavor. All right, next one. Approval of minutes, last one. Everybody ready?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Patty, it's your turn.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Great. We have June warrants that total $25,521.83. The total for payroll this month is $16,225.33. That includes Chief Carlton's salary of $5,000 and Assistant Chief Schultz $2,958.33. Then for the commissioners and the secretary, total payout for the volunteers, which include the warrants, is $10,861. Financial statements are in your meeting book for your review. So we're just looking for a motion to approve the warrants and payroll for June as presented today.
Thank you. Any questions? No?
I have a question.
Go for it.
What is the miscellaneous income?
Patty, what would be considered miscellaneous income?
The miscellaneous income includes,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Does it include burn permits and things like that?
no, burn permits are broken out, so are EMS revenue.
Okay.
Miscellaneous, for an example, once a quarter we receive a rebate from U.S. Bank Visa cards that we use to purchase items, and so we get a rebate back based on that. So this last month it was $354. That was for the quarters. And also, that might have been listed under miscellaneous because we didn't have a particular line item in the budget. There was a revenue for insurance recoveries. We received a check for some repair to the station.
And that's, I believe, if I remember correctly, that was around $7,000.
Yes, $7,235. And then we also had, well, so miscellaneous this last month was large because we also had a reimbursement for a volunteer that was no longer with the department. So they reimbursed the district for their academy fees, their fire service academy fees.
And how much was that amount, Patty?
$4,147. It was the amount that the district had paid. But my understanding is that once they pay that volunteer has to commit to a certain amount of service back to the department. And I think that individual is no longer with the department.
That's correct.
Okay. You had liberty to tell me what it was?
Under contract with the district. First name, last name?
James Evans?
James Evans. Sorry, I didn't remember. But James Evans. And he is moving down to California to pursue other career opportunities. So I wish him the best. I was very proud of him for paying back the district for the academy that the taxpayers fronted, and he had the integrity and the ethics and morals to pay back the district and the taxpayers, so for the entire cost. So
Very well. Well, good hunting. Appreciate it. Patty, continue, please. We need to do a motion. I don't know if you have another question.
No, I don't have any more questions, I was just curious.
No questions? Okay, can I have two motions then?
So, I move that we pay the warrants for $25,521.83 and the payroll for $16,225.33.
Second, Ken?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion's passed. Thank you. Budget update.
Yes, budget update as of May 31st, 2018, we have 65.55% left of the budget. And in comparison to May of 2017, it was at 61.15.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank
Any
you.
questions about that particular item? No? Yes? No? Thank you. Chief, correspondence?
a number of correspondences just to quickly mention. We'll be helping Ham Radio put up an antenna on the community center coming up on the 23rd.
Thank you.
So, yep, you're welcome. To lift it up there with some of our young, strong firefighters that will be on duty. And then the library, since it'll be coming online here pretty soon, the library has extended out to see if they need an agreement with the fire district. And as far as my understanding is right now, that just falls underneath the regular agreement that we have with the Parks District already. And I'm going to continue looking into it, but I don't believe having a separate protection agreement with the Whatcom County Library System is necessary, because we'll provide that protection. We don't have separate or individual contracts like the marketplace or anything else commercial, so I think it'll be the same.
Chief, if push comes to shove, why would we or should we have, or in their imagination, they should have with us, a special agreement? If there's an emergency, are you going to ask for an agreement?
No.
No.
No, so I don't know where that's coming from.
That's the idea,
And it's, again, I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody knows more. I believe the Parks District still owns the building,
Yeah.
and the library system is renting that space from them, if I'm not mistaken, if that is correct. Well, you're a commissioner, so I guess you can answer this stuff for us. And it's a process that, again, we already have an agreement with Whatcom County Parks and Rec, and that's down in the county and just got renewed, actually.
And what is that for? For the building? Are you talking about the building?
For Whatcom the Parks
The
lands
parks.
and any buildings, and specifically to the buildings that are on the sites. So like Lighthouse Park.
That's
say-
separate. Point Roberts Rec is different than Whatcom County Parks. Two different entities.
Whatcom County is the 4 parks on the perimeter. Point Roberts Park is the community center, the library, and Bakerfield in the middle of the point.
I'll have to check into that. I don't believe I have 2 separate agreements.
One, just one. Just with Whatcom.
For Whatcom County Parks, I don't have anything for Point Roberts Parks and Rec, but we protect the lands, it's within our boundaries. So we
You
protect,
would protect any land.
Why would you have a separate agreement?
if they want to pay us money, I'm happy to take money for the.
I think it's
agreement.
common in many districts around the country. I know that it's common in Arizona.
Well,
You
we
have to
never
have
had
an
it-
agreement
we
with your
never had
fire
it
district
before.
and pay for it annually. Yeah.
We never had it before.
I'm just saying that they might be operating under the auspices of this is common in some communities. Pat, do you know more about that?
No.
No.
No, and I don't believe it's necessary. I haven't worked anywhere else. I don't believe Bellingham Fire had a separate agreement with Whatcom County Library System inside of Bellingham's boundaries.
Yeah.
But I could be mistaken. But we don't have an agreement with Whitby. We don't have an agreement with any other major other than structure here. So it's a commercial building, residential structure, so either way, it doesn't matter to us. We're going to respond and deal with a medical emergency or deal with a fire suppression, fire control issue.
Yeah, that's very nice, very well said, Chief, and I believe that too.
Yeah.
Nobody, I mean, if this goes out, that, you know how the public is, they go, all of a sudden, oh, there's a special agreement with that, and there's a special agreement.
Yeah.
John Doe's gonna say, oh, I want one too.
Yeah.
It's nonsense in my book.
Yeah, we're charged with protecting the
Yeah.
protecting the commercial and residential property, and also the county lands within our boundaries.
Yeah,
So that's just underneath our auspices.
good.
Before I came from the city, we had a 4,000 acre city park, lots of wildland stuff, and I think there was a mutual aid with the city and CDF and the county, they all respond because it's a mutual aid.
Yeah, so that's different than
Because
an
we're
agreement.
soliciting, it's a lot of different ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, there's fire districts that have mitigation agreements in place or contracts in place that do provide more funds into the district. But those are things that we'll have to discuss at a later date.
Yeah, we probably had a memorandum of understanding, so we're.
Yeah, like we have a bill, Whatcom County, whatever. My suggestion is let's not waste any more time on this special stuff.
So no, that's fine.
It's good
Like I said, I was just
like-
fielding from one of the interested parties, I was fielding some emails, and I think we have an understanding now that nothing's needed at this point, and if something comes up later, then we'll deal with it at that point, but for now, everything's where it needs to be.
Good, let's keep it in that way. Oh, Patty, are you still there?
I am.
Oh, what are you doing here?
No, I'm listening. I don't get the opportunity to, so I'd like
All
to
right,
remain on the line if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. You'll be on standby then. Good, thank you. Chief, go ahead, your report. Unless you have another correspondence?
No, so that wraps up pretty much all the correspondence I've been getting. I just want to let people know the school run is going to be a 5K. It's going to be on July 28th, and we're supporting that. It's a firefighter fun run with the students over at the hall. They'll be doing maybe a 1K around the little field, the little kids will be, but it'll be open to adults for the 5K, and the diagram for the run race. We're actually going to be running I got permission from Seabright to run the trail around Seabright, so that's going to be part of it. We'll be running into the woods and swimming along the cliff over there, so that'll be good for those who do the 5K race. And we'll have a barbecue out here, the tents will be set up, Firefighter Association will be involved, and we'll probably have a move out there for donations.
When will this be, Chief?
July 28th, it's a Saturday, July 28th. So July 1st, I guess we're in June now, and this July 1st is hopefully going to be Canada Day. It's not Canadian Day, right? It's Canada Day. Canada Day. And hopefully we'll have, depending on the donations, we'll have fireworks down at the marina. The Navy helicopter is scheduled to be here. They're Black Hawk, and it's their search and rescue helicopter, so it'll be down there from 11 to 3, just so the public knows. As well, since I won't have another opportunity to really say that to the public until we get out there. So July 4th, we'll be out there as well, so we'll have our tents set up each and every day, passing out public relations material, taking blood pressures, and wetting down whoever wants to be wet down. So, on those days. Chief's report for the month of June for May 2018. Supposedly, AFG is supposed to start rolling out their awards. I did not get a thank you but try again letter for either one of my grants I put in. I am still in the running as far as I know, so to remind everybody, I have an $800,000 grant roughly for 18 Life Pack 15s, and that's a regional grant, and we would have 2 of those, so it would allow us to get 2 more cardiac monitors here within the organization. I think Ferndale's taken 3, Sumas has taken 2 or 3, and then Bellingham is like 9 or 10. So however that balances out to 18. 858, if you all remember, we had an engine failure on that, and we had to get that fixed. And we took it down to DK Diesel in Bellingham. They were extremely professional and extremely fast. And right now, we have no problems with the engine. It's running wonderful. And I am very happy with the service that we were given at DK Diesel down in Bellingham. Nothing else to report on the apparatus. Member roster, we're at 41 members. 23 Canadian, 10 Point Roberts, 8 County for the month of May. 3 paramedics. We have 15 EMTs, of which 8 are advanced EMTs, 3 ambassadors, and 35 firefighters on staff out of 41. Volunteer hours for the month of May were 2783. Volunteer payroll, if all were getting paid, was 11707. I worked at 160 hours in the office. Assistant Chief Shields, 165.5. We combined worked 325.5. Just to let you know, I was down in Phoenix for a week, so I had 40 hours of additional training in the Blue Card Command System down there, so that's why I'm even par with my 160 hours this month. Total calls for the month of May, 34, so we had a very busy month for us. EMS calls, we had 17. We transported 2 to St. Joseph's and Bellingham. Airlift took 2 of our patients. We had 10 no transports. North Whatcom took 2 of our patients, and Ferndale Medic 45 took 1. Public service, we had 2. Smoke detectors installations, we had 2 in-home visits through our CARES program, and we assisted law enforcement with 1 call. 12 fire classifications, we have 5 permitted burns, 6 illegal burns, 1 false alarm, and that sums up my chief's report for the month of June.
Thank you,
Now, question, illegal burns, did they get ticketed?
So we give correction notices, and we'll give 1 correction notice. We have some habitual illegal burners here. We have people, we have the authority in the state of Washington to request that everybody be permitted on fires. Not only if it's due to our geographical location, we don't have the mutual aid that everybody else has if something starts. So we need the time and the ability to help educate people and make sure they have been educated. And so each one of our firefighters will educate anybody that comes in for burn permits and make sure that they understand what they can and cannot burn. So when we get the excuse on scene, well, I didn't know I couldn't burn construction material, I didn't know I couldn't burn my trash, my household trash in the backyard, that is something they knew they couldn't burn. So correction notices on any illegal burn go out. If we run back to that house again and they're burning the same items or they're outside the parameters, then I'll be sending that down to the fire marshal, or so choose to send it. If it's really bad toxic things like construction material, homemade trash, plastics, those things, I'm sending them down to Northwest Clean Air. Northwest Clean Air has one of our individuals here on point already. The fines start, depending on the magnitude of the burning issue and what they were burning, will be in the thousands. And that's the first fine. Now they'll work with the individual and they can lessen that fine if the individual is receptive to what they're asking them to do and not burn illegally anymore. If the person is not, then they can levy tens of thousands of dollars if necessary, and that's been done in the state of Washington. So, as far as I understand. But I don't want to have to do that. I wish people would take our advice on the first one, on the first correction notice. Sometimes they don't, so if that's the case, then we just send them down from this point forwards. And Northwest Clean Air has full legal authority in the state of Washington that they can fine you. If you don't pay it, they can lien your home and everything else. So you could lose your property if it goes that pathway. I ask, which way do you want to do it? I mean, we're asking you to take care of the community, just like everybody else, or we can send you down south. And I really leave it up to the property owner at that point. And if they're nice to us, then we try to be a little bit more lenient, but we'll still give the correction notice and go from there.
Chief, do you issue the department issue correction?
Yeah, so we have
Right at that time?
Yeah, we take pictures of all illegal burns because we've had people come back and say, well, that's not my property, that's not my burn. It was a 2x2, it wasn't, a 10x10 like they're saying it was. So we got caught on a couple people a few years back. So for at least 2 years now, we've been taking pictures of all the illegal burns with property in the background. Most likely the homeowner or property owner standing there with the fire as well. So we can prove what was inside the fire and the property that it was on. So they don't have a recourse saying it wasn't my fire. We give the correction notice on scene. We don't charge a penalty for that, so we aren't able to levy a dollar amount, but the fire marshal can. So if it's a circumstance to where it involves somebody else's property, it burned into their property, the fire marshal would be called up, then they can levy a fine on scene at that point if they so choose to do. But most likely it's usually contained to the property itself, and yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any unfinished business, folks?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, this is
New business?
Yeah.
We have a meeting, new business, we have a meeting tomorrow about capital fund issues here. See how far we can go and put that on paper, and that is tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Tomorrow here at 1 o'clock, it's a capital facilities plan work session.
Okay.
So the other new item,
Yeah.
are you there, Patty, or did you leave?
Did you burn yourself?
We need to implement a resolution, and we'll write that in. Linda will find the resolution number, which is the next resolution. For RCW 4.96.020, and it's appointment of an agent to receive claims. This governs all claims and damages. I spoke to our legal counsel that somebody would try to levy or sue the district for, and this would be the person that would be in charge of receiving those claims as the initial contact. So Brian recommended that he be the person placed on this resolution. He is our legal counsel for the district. These can sometimes be of great magnitude, and I think he is a better person to levy those or receive those than I am. But I'll be working with him, obviously, on anything like that. So this resolution covers that. I'm happy to read it very quickly.
So I think you pretty well said it exactly what
That's what it
a
covers.
lay person would understand.
Yeah, so it's placing our legal counsel, Brian K. Snur, as the claims agent for the district. And this is required to be in a file at the county auditor's office. So this will have to be sent down there once it's signed. And we'll keep a copy here on file as well. But they contacted me because there's been some issues with organizations in the county that have had claims taken against them, and they don't have that claims agent for the person to file. Because if somebody wanted to sue this district, they could call the county auditor, say who's the claim agent, and then send that claim. Their legal team could send a claim to.
It was a countywide sweep, Park District
was.
got one too.
Right. So they contacted us, and that's what to follow up with Linda. Everybody got contacted that didn't have these on file. So it's just not our district, but every single entity in the county has this job to do. So that needs to be signed today, so we can send that down. I can.
You have the number for it?
I'll get it for you.
Okay.
We'll get that. We'll have to write that number in, but you guys can sign on the second page, and I have 2 copies there already.
Okay, well, we'll circulate that when we sign the rest of the document.
Sure.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
You make a motion to adjourn?
Second, motion passed, we're done.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for